Hey everybody out there in the Comic Community Central world, and welcome to another Dark Avengers monthly review on Comic Community Central. The comic books I'll be talking about were released in March 2012, and the first week alone was a pretty huge week with number ones and fails and goods. First off, this is my last comic. This is, by the way, the week of the 7th. This is the first week of March. March. And Detective Comics is, I'm done. This is the last issue. Story just doesn't grip me anymore. Artwork's pretty good, but the story just isn't holding me. And the price hike of an extra $1 because they're putting a second story in, that just put the nail in the coffin. So my fourth favorite Batman comic is now off my pull list completely. So that's Batman Detective Comics. There was also 3 number ones this week. First, the one that I'm really not interested in anymore, Age of Apocalypse number 1, was, in my opinion, not really that good. I didn't enjoy the story. The artwork didn't complement it much either. And the very last page, I'm going to spoil it for you guys, showed Cyclops, who everybody thought was dead, but really is alive. This series did not grip me. It didn't even make me want to grab issue 2. So, for me, Age of Apocalypse was a letdown, and it will end with issue 1. 2 books that did not fail, though, were, first let's do this one, Ferris number 1, which is a complementary series, ongoing series to the ongoing series Fables. This is like a background story to stuff that's been going on in Fables or past Fable stories. They're adding more story to it. I've enjoyed the first issue. It involves Alibaba, it involves princesses, it involves everything. Really awesome. A lamp imp also. It's really, really good. I cannot wait to read issue 2. It was that good. If you're a fan of Fables, if you're a fan of anything that involves Fables, I would highly recommend you guys check this book out. It's worth the read. Also got Hell Yeah number 1. It's a cliche story. I mean, you could argue, I've heard mixed reviews for it. Some people say, well, you know, it's the standard story, you know, a prestige, you know, scale kind of guy, you know, a very popular superhero, you know, everybody knows and acknowledges him as the best guy in the world. And here's his son, the kid that's always in detention and goofing around. Yes, but there's more story to it. I actually just started reading Hell Yeah number 2, which came out the first week of April. And guys, there's a lot more to the story than just that. I would highly recommend you check this out. Okay, we got 3 Marvel and 2 great DC books this week. First DC book that was really good was Swamp Thing. In this issue, finally, 7 issues in, a half a year plus a month, Alec Holland finally becomes Swamp Thing. For those of you who don't know by now, I'm very surprised. But yes, Alec Holland finally becomes Swamp Thing. The series is awesome. The artwork complements the great story artwork. The only reason Animal Man isn't in this week's or this month's review is because Animal Man just didn't pull as hard and as great as Swamp Thing did. Epic ending. I can't wait to read the next issue of Swamp Thing. I would highly recommend checking it out. Another great series that comes to an end, issue 6 of 6, Huntress. Ended great. It in the very end, it kind of leads into the whole World's Finest thing because Power Girl shows up on the last page. I'm going to be grabbing World's Finest, Earth 2, and I believe that's all I'm grabbing in the new 6 books that they're releasing. I'm giving both stories a chance. If issue 1 doesn't grab me, I will be dropping it. I've been doing a huge cut in DC Comics. Already I've dropped about 5 books. That's a lot. In 1 month I've dropped 5 books, and there's probably more. That's 5 books in the past 2 weeks. We'll see how much more is going to go as time goes on. But I would highly recommend you check out the trade paperback of the 6-issue series of Huntress. We'll see if World's Finest pulls on its own. Amazing Spider-Man 681, and before I get into 681, I want to let you guys know something. Until my brother finishes his monthly reviews on Dark Avengers C86, which will be about another month or 2, I will not be showing comic books on my monthly review that he reads, that he wants to put in his monthly review. So for 2 more months, guys, you guys are going to kind of be... there's going to be some comics like Amazing Spider-Man, for example, that won't be on my monthly review due to the fact that Mike's going to be reviewing them too. But that's okay. You know, monthly reviews still go forward as always. In this issue, it concludes the whole space Spidey saving J. Jonah Jameson's son with teaming up with the Human Torch. Really good. I loved it. Artwork was great. All leads into World's End. Really great. Winter Soldier number 3, still pulling really strong. Bucky and Black Widow sneak into Doom's castle. They want to help. They want Doom's help. Doom thinks he's going to kill them. There's a huge fight that goes out. It was knockdown, blowout. Artwork is amazing. Story is awesome. You should definitely be checking this out. I put Wolverine 302 in here for several reasons. First off is the cover art is beautiful. Story was also great. It had a part where Wolverine's in his own mind, and it shows how Rachel Gray trained him to overcome any kind of like mental attack or whatnot, especially after what happened to him in the past several issues. So it was really good. I enjoyed the story, and unfortunately I didn't put 303 in, but 303 concluded this story, and it was completely epic. Sabretooth's back, and Yakuza, the Hand, everybody's in this. It was really, really good. Highly recommend you guys be checking out Wolverine. Next, only two for the month of the week of the 14th. First off is the awesome story that is continuing to be awesome, Scarlet Spider issue 3. There is a hit out on several people, and it turns out they find out that Scarlet Spider's Kane, and there was a hit out on Kane. Lots more happened in this book. Awesome artwork. Kane is now the Spider-Man of Texas, officially. Of all places, I don't know why Texas, but beside the point, if you look over the fact that it's Texas, it's still a book that this absolutely would get Book of the Week every time it comes out. It's just amazing. I would highly recommend you check it out. A number one that came out this week that I got the variant from Midtown Comics for is Avengers Assemble 1. It is a side story to what's going on. It doesn't have anything to do with the other Avenger books. It's just its own book, and it involves all the people that are going to be starring in the upcoming Avengers movie. Did not expect to be saying this, but Mark Bagley's artwork is amazing, and I will 99.9%, actually I am. I'm coming back for issue 2, and if the story keeps pulling as strong as it is, I'll be coming back for issue 3, 4, 5, and 6. Another number one that did really, really good this month. Also, Manhattan Project number 1. I don't have it in this pile because I'm reading it for the first week of April, so I will say it here so this way I don't have to worry about putting it in the April stack. I've read through 99% of it. I've got to reread through it again before the weekly review on Dark Avengers C86. If you want to see a full review of any of these books, check out Dark Avengers C86. And if you want to see a full review on Manhattan Project, check out the first week of April. I'll be doing it there, but from what I've read, it is pretty darn good. But then again, you know, I've got to reread through it again and make sure. We are now in the week of the 21st. The book that I am definitely dropping is Justice League number 7. A lot of people love it, and I don't mean to step on anybody's toes, especially in the Comic Community Central members, because I know a few people like this book. Remember, guys, I grew up in the old DCU, and it's nearly impossible for me to accept the new DCU. Nearly, because some of the stuff is still good. But it's nearly impossible, and the Justice League, they're still... First of all, they never needed a PR guy, and now they have a PR guy, and the PR guy's in love with Wonder Woman, and everybody's acting like they're still just forming. You know, everybody goes off and does their own thing. In the old JLA, they all were mature adults. They all worked together as a team, and they all knew that Batman was smarter in certain ways than them, and they actually followed his lead. In this book, Batman tries to take charge and, you know, tell people what to do, and everybody's like, look, we're the Justice League. We can handle it on our own. Done. Done. Goodbye, Justice League. I'm sorry. I can't anymore. Can't. I tried. I can't. There's 4 great books this week. 1 from an independent, 1 from Marvel, and 2 from DC. Road Rage 2 just continued on its awesomeness. Although the story seems like it ended in this, I'm curious to see where they're going to go with issue 3. Everything's resolved in this issue as far as why the trucker was doing what he was doing, if Race lived, and what's the fate of the tribe. It all happens in this issue. If you want to see more spoilers or hear more spoilers or anything like that, as I said, go to Dark Avengers C86 the week of the 21st. You'll see exactly what happened, where I go into detail in that book. Ends of the Earth began Spider-Man 682. It feels more like a prequel to the actual story than a part 1 to the story. Everything's happening. Yes, it sets up the story, but that's all this issue felt like, a setup. I did start reading 683, and that feels more like a part 1. But this was still good. It's Dan Slott. I have faith in him, and I'm going to continue to read. Sorry, there's no bag or board. I forgot that I had to put this in the monthly review. This probably didn't even come out the week of the 21st. I don't remember. I think, oh yeah, it did come out the week of the 21st. Yeah. So I put it in the right place. 2 Batman books, Batman Beyond Unlimited number 2 and Batman. Let's start with Batman Beyond Unlimited number 2. Really good second story. I like the JLA Beyond story. The first story just seems like it's going off in so many different directions, and it's losing its focus on what the main thing is. But then again, there are main focuses all over the place for the first story, so maybe it'll all come together in the end. But I'm loving the second story, and because I just dropped Detective Comics, I don't even care that it's $3.99. I just dropped two $3.99 books. I can live with Batman Beyond Unlimited. It's a really good series for those of you people who liked Batman Beyond on TV. Batman, issue 7. He escapes the Court of Owls, but now it's all down to, you know, stopping them completely. And Nightwing guest stars on here. The last few pages of this book interlock with the last few pages of the Nightwing comic that came out this week. Artwork is brilliant by Greg Capullo, and the story is compelling. I cannot wait for the Court of Owls crossover. I will not be getting all the books for the Court of Owls crossover. I've already made that decision by the end of this month, as a matter of fact. So I'll be getting the books that I normally get, no more, no less. So, really good though. Court of Owls story looks to be really awesome. And now we are concluding with the week of the 28th. And the book of the month will go last. Let's start with number 1, the new Dead Ward. Try this again. Vertigo number 1, the new Dead Wardians. First issue was kind of we dropped points everywhere. There were a lot of questions that are left after issue 1, but then again, that's what a lot of issue 1s do nowadays. They leave a lot of questions that get answered within the next 7, because this is an 8-part series, the next 7 issues. There were just so many dead ends, though, that I'm being honest, I'll come back for issue 2 just to see if some of the loose ends are tied up or fixed a bit. But if not, I'll probably end up dropping the Dead Wardians after issue 2. So this is kind of a 50-50 number 1. We'll see where that goes. Avengers vs. X-Men, issue 0. Split story between Scarlet Witch and Hope. First story is Scarlet Witch versus MODOK. You know, she goes back to the new Avengers, the Avengers Mansion. There's a thing with Vision that happens, not good. And I have a feeling that Scarlet Witch is going to play some kind of role in the... Of course she is. She's the Scarlet Witch. She's going to play a role in Avengers vs. X-Men, but I don't know if she's going to try to stop the Phoenix Force and work with the Avengers, especially after she just got thrown out. Here's the thing. Scarlet Witch is like... She ruined the mutant gene, so there's only about... It's because of her there are only 200 mutants left, so you know the X-Men aren't going to want her back, most likely. And she hurt Vision years before that and used him as a tool against his friend, and Vision even said, "You're not welcome here with the Avengers," even though that's not how everybody else feels. So Scarlet Witch is kind of not wanted on either side. It's going to be interesting to see what her role is by the end of this story, because I have a feeling she's going to play a huge role. Everybody thinks it's all Hope. I think it's going to have a huge role for Scarlet Witch come the middle, towards the middle of this series, towards the middle and end of this series. Scarlet Witch is going to play a huge part in this Avengers vs. X-Men miniseries. My opinion, I could be wrong. Really good stories. Do you need this before you read issue 1? Absolutely not. You can read issue 1 and this really, it's just a prequel to number 1. It's stories that don't even really interlock with number 1. It just beefs out before number 1 more. Book of the week and book of the month, as always, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 8. Epic story, epic artwork. Has not let me down. We are in issue 8. I'm dropping issues 7 and 8 from DC. I'm dropping Marvel books when they don't interest me. This book, I mean, now I've got to be honest, books like that I've been reviewing, they've always, these are like my favorite of the month, but you know, there were times where I was reading, well, Batman hasn't disappointed me yet, I got to be honest, but there were books in this review that some months it was like, okay, it was alright. This book has not let me down. This book has not left me wanting more. Well, of course it's leaving me wanting more for the next issue, but it hasn't left me saying, okay, this book could have done more. It doesn't leave me with that blank feeling after reading this. These books are strong. Their stories are strong. It goes from next to next to next. You don't feel like it's dragging out like certain books that are still in issue 7 and it's still the first story. This is the second story, but each book continues the story. It doesn't just build more to the part before it or build up to the part after it. No. Each book has its own part to the story and then it continues on with the next book. Really good, guys. Kevin Eastman. I know the movie's going to suck because Michael Bay destroys everything, but these books are still gold. I'm sorry, we're 8 issues in. If you have not read this yet, get the trade paperback of the first 5 issues. And if you like it, which I'm guaranteed 95% sure you will like it, because there is that 5% that doesn't like certain, that don't like certain types of genres or certain types of books. So I'll give you that 5%, but I'm 95% sure after reading the first trade paperback, you will be coming back for issues 6, 7, and 8. The first 5 issues sold out. That has to say something. So I really love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These books, this is the second or third monthly review I'm doing on CCC, and this is the third time or second time that this is the book of the month. Always will be book of the month until it disappoints. So for those of you who are hoping for a different book of the month, unless Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles decides to go the way of a lot of the comic books in DC and a few of the comic books in Marvel, this book just tops, and that's it. That's the month of March. Those are the good books, a few bad books, and a lot of number ones. Next month there will be a couple more number ones. I know there's a lot of number ones coming in May and June, so I'm looking forward to that. The new 6, I believe, start up in May, so you'll see the new 2 number ones that I'll be getting. And we'll see if TMNT stays at the top of its game, which it's been for the past 8 issues. God bless Kevin Eastman, and I'm glad that IDW took over the franchise, because they're doing an amazing, super job. Alright guys, so take care, keep collecting, keep reading. I'll see you guys next month for another monthly review. And for those of you who want to see a more in-depth review of each of these books, go to Dark Avengers C86 and just follow the dates. See you guys later.